If you're ready to buy or sell your home, then stop in at 4234 Market Street to let one of the agents at Howard Hanna Professionals help. Our friendly and knowledgeable agents can help you find the key to your dream home. Looking for a new career? Howard Hanna Professionals can help there too. Howard Hanna Professionals will assist new and experienced agents with the startup fees for an exciting career in real estate. Call Katrina Laurie at 814-726-2000 for more information.
Here at Casella, we make temporary dumpster rental easy, offering services that are perfect for construction, remodeling, special events, or other short-term projects. Casella dumpsters are available in a wide range of sizes to fit any job. Our dedicated customer service team will help you choose the right size container and service level for your project and schedule hassle-free removal based on your specific needs. The right size dumpster, when you want it, where you want it, removed when you say so.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee and a Conversation here on Your Daily Local. Brian Hagberg with you, and our guest today is Nate Sandberg from the Warren County Sports Hall of Fame and board. What are we calling you? Board president, board chairperson, head honcho, El Presidente.
I think all the above.
All of the
All the above.
Leading now the Warren County Sports Hall of Fame board of trustees, directors? What
Sure, directors.
Sure,
Yeah.
directors. Full transparency, of which I am a part, and happy to be so, and appreciate the invite for that. But getting ready to start closing nominations for the Warren County Sports Hall of Fame class of 2026. And that's coming up on January 16th. In case you're still wanting to nominate some folks, we've got a link to the nomination form and the electronic nomination in our story at yourdailylocal.com. So head there if you want to go ahead and nominate somebody. Again, you need to get it in by January 16th. And Nate, thanks for taking some time and explaining us the wonderful world of Warren County Sports Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, thanks for having me, Brian.
So let's talk a little bit about nominations, the nominating process. What are we looking for? If somebody's out there and says, "Oh, hey, I want to nominate somebody," what are we looking for from our nominees?
Yeah, I mean, anyone that is, has some Warren County sports background. They can be a coach, they can be an athlete, they can have any affiliation with Warren County sports is deemed worthy of a nomination, and anyone can nominate anyone. So, which is the cool thing, and that's one of the neat things about this is we get such a diverse list of nominees, with different sports and disciplines, and it's really neat.
Yeah, and I think that's because obviously with what we do at Your Daily Local, the YDL Sports Network, that's we primarily focus on high school sports, the quote unquote traditional, your football, soccer, volleyball in the fall, and swimming, wrestling, and basketball, and baseball, softball, track,
Mm-hmm.
And so with this nomination process being open to anyone, we get things like Rick Johnson's on the board, and you have a martial arts background, and somebody may be like into gymnastics, and hey, this person was really good at whatever. And so I think it's interesting to get that kind of, like you said, that really diverse perspective, and what people view as Hall of Fame worthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Another example is like Amy Wilsey is on our board. She has a extensive bowling background.
Yeah.
And like last ceremony, we inducted Donnie Beals, who's the BMX national and world champion. And so it's not just your main high school sports that we consider. And it's in Dean Spearden with
trap,
with the trap shooting. Yeah. So it like I said, it's really neat to have that diverse realm, which is neat.
And it's you mentioned Dean. He's a classmate. I'm like, "Man, my God, we were from kindergarten all the way through. Dean and I were, and so it's a little bittersweet because hey, wow, that's somebody I went to school with is in the Hall of Fame, but then it's like, oh God, we're old enough to they be in the Hall of Fame.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I mean, so from your perspective, right, when the nominations come in and we kind of start looking through who's been nominated and what kind of accomplishments they have, just personally for you, what are some things that you look for and say, okay, yes, that is a Hall of Famer?
I would say, stuff that separates them from the others. In terms of like district championships, that's
Sure.
kind of, I would call the gold standard for Warren County.
Mhm.
The district championships, going on to the collegiate level. If we get any state champions,
Sure.
any collegiate coaching, which we have, I guess anything that kind of separates them
Yeah.
from kind of the normal pack, I would say.
Sure. So, I mean, you're not looking for you, right? Like it's not, oh yeah, I lettered in track as a sophomore kind of.
Correct. Yeah. So that we kind of not run into that, but a little bit
Right.
with the nominees is, we, a lot of the times when people nominate, we get it written like, they really loved sports or they
Yeah.
are a sports enthusiast and they did this and that, which is great. So that's become a learning curve for me, is trying to figure out how to,
Yeah.
tell people that, that's great, but
yeah.
it might not be worthy of the Hall of Fame despite their opinions.
Yeah. We probably should mention, there are some parameters for nominees. We don't typically do teams,
Mhm.
right? And nominees need to be at least 30 by the end of the calendar year for the class of which they're being nominated. So that would be anybody in the class of 2026. They need to turn 30 or have turned 30 by the end of 2026. And again, all the forms and all of these details are available at yourdailylocal.com. Head up the story there and get your nominees in. But um, when you look at this is what, the third class you've done now?
Yeah, it's be the third
Or
class
be
that
the
I've
third,
ran.
yeah. When you look at the number of nominees that come in, do you have kind of a number in your head after nominations close of, okay, we received X amount, we should probably have a class of this size, or is it really dependent on the nominees?
It kind of varies a little bit. Typically over the past, we've inducted 8 living and 2 deceased nominees, but again, those numbers aren't set in stone.
Sure.
We don't have to do certain things every year. But yeah, it also depends on how many nominees we deem worthy of making the ballot.
Yeah.
So yeah, if there's 25 worthy people that make the ballot, then we might have a larger induction class.
Yeah.
If there's only 14 or 15, we might have a smaller one. It kind of it can fluctuate.
Yeah. Well, and I would think too, there was about a 10-year or so kind of hiatus where nobody was inducted for a while, and so I would think maybe that's going to give all that time for people who maybe would have been nominated in that time frame, plus you've got everything that happened right in that time frame. So that's, in some ways, that's good because it's going to broaden the pool of potential nominees, right?
For sure. Absolutely. So yeah, that was like a 10-year hiatus where the Hall of Fame wasn't around.
Mhm.
So we've run into what I would call a kind of a backlog of that, which is advantageous in a sense because it keeps the quality of our induction classes very, very high. But also on the other side, there's a lot of deserving people that are not getting in.
Right.
So, we can't induct everyone, unfortunately. But yeah, no, it's like I said, there's pros and cons.
Sure. Well, and I know, having some of the conversations that we've had throughout the nominating process, in my mind, I'm going back and I'm looking at all the inductees and I've got a list of, probably 30 people off the top of my head that I'm going, we should probably take a look at these folks and really, see how they stack up compared to some other nominees.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. And so with that, we mentioned that there was that kind of hiatus. What was it that prompted you to go, we need to bring this back and start inducting some of these classes again?
Right. So my first sense of the Warren County Sports Hall of Fame was when I was a young kid. Back, I was very good friends with Hall of Fame inductee Dave Feldman's son, DJ, who's one of the best wrestlers ever from Warren County.
And Dave wasn't too shabby either.
Dave was pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good, I'd say. So we were at the Feldman's house, and I remember his mom, DJ's mom, Sandy, was playing Dave's old state championship video.
Yep.
Also, side note on that video, when Dave wins, he goes and hugs Andy Horn, who was one of our most recent inductees. So pretty cool. So then we got talking, and he was on the Warren County Sports Hall of Fame. And I guess as a young kid, I always thought that's really cool that we have a Sports Hall of Fame. And fast track to this was pre-COVID, so probably 2019.
Right. Yeah.
And Jeff Barch and I, who's on the board, former director, Hall of Fame inductee, we were helping out with the boys tennis team in the spring. So out of the blue, I just asked, "Hey Jeff, whatever happened to the Hall of Fame?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, a couple of reasons. Basically, long story short, it's not a thing." So I just asked him, like, what if I brought it back? What if I tried to do that? He's like, "Yeah, that'd be great." So he kind of handed me the reins essentially back in 2019 or 2020. And we kind of took it ever since. And Jeff Barch is on the board, so he's been there as a wonderful mentor, and kind of aiding with the process and all the millions of questions that I have.
Well, and I'm sure having that that kind of experience and somebody who's been through these processes and things like that, it certainly can't hurt to have that as a sounding board of, hey, well, what do you think about this, or how does this person stack up?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I guess to kind of add to Brian's question, I guess I've always been proud of where I come from, Warren County. So I guess it's kind of an underlying goal is kind of restoring that Warren County sports pride, sports history. And younger people like myself, I don't think understand and appreciate the sports history that Warren County has. And I think it's important to, keep that going and, and make sure people are appreciate it and are informed about it.
Well, and it's really interesting, when you mention the history and you go back, way back to some of the things that happened here and some of the people who have come through here. And, one of the things we always had, back years ago when I was working in the newsroom down at the TO, we had that photo of the old Warren semi-pro baseball team, and couldn't 100% prove it, but it sure looks an awful lot like Honus Wagner's standing in that team photo, right? And you just think, all the people that potentially came through here that we don't even know about because there isn't photography, right? It's not like today, obviously, but that history stretches back so far, and I think it's an important thing to have some kind of tie-in and have that history somewhere where people can look at it and go, "Oh, wow, yeah, this was really great." So
no, absolutely. So to add on to the Honus Wagner, it's you hear the stories of Babe Ruth, in his barnstorming days playing baseball, and the Warren Red Jackets, the old football team. I mean, it's just, to me, that always just amazed me that the town of Warren always is so rich with Warren County is so rich with the sports history. And I guess preserving that history is I think so important. I mean, because once people pass on and years go by, who's going to be telling their stories, I think it's so important. So it's definitely been very neat.
What's been, I guess, kind of the biggest hurdle or challenge you've had to overcome in getting this back up and running and getting new classes inducted?
That's a great question. There's definitely been a few. Honestly, figuring out the process. It's kind of a two-step process we do. It's sounds a lot easier explaining it right now, but because we do the nominations where anyone can nominate anyone, and then we, the board of directors, we kind of establish who makes the ballot, kind of who's worthy of being inducted. So understanding that process, the best way to go about it, obviously I'm still learning, which is kind of the fun part about it.
Right. Yeah.
Another hard thing is tracking down information sometimes, especially with the older inductees,
Sure, yeah.
because there's a lot of times there's no film, there's very little media. So we found ourselves going to the library and having to look at microfilm, having to contact a bunch of people, go through yearbooks.
Yeah.
So there is a heck of a lot of legwork, I would say, that goes into this.
Yeah.
So, but it's obviously it's definitely worth it.
Sure.
To put on a ceremony and honor the people that that deserve it. So.
Yeah, and I had a chance to go to the most recent induction ceremony, and it was well done, and I think the best part about it was that all the inductees came.
Yes.
And that's obviously things happen, right? People run into things, but when you have a class as large as that one was, and all of them were there and excited about being there, and then seeing how many of them have chosen to stay in the area. I think especially now when you look at all of the things, all of the challenges that we're facing as a rural community, seeing that we have this great legacy of people who have performed athletically in one realm or another, but then the number of them that have chosen to stay here and call this place home, I thought was really remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, I love living in Warren.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I feel like you're somebody that can make, you can make a difference, make an impact if you want. But yeah, no, the ceremony is awesome. I mean, it's really neat just getting all those people together is really a cool feeling. But yeah, speaking of, the people coming back to Warren, but also, moving back, but then coming back for the ceremony is, it just looking at when the voting membership form, where people put their addresses.
Right.
And I mean, we've had voters from, I would say roughly 35, 40 states.
Yeah.
I mean, it is incredible how deep those Warren County roots run. And, I feel like a lot of people share that, the pride that I mentioned before. It's really neat to see. And the 2 years I've done the classes, there's only one inductee that has not been able to make it. That was Ben Maljevic, who's I think down in Texas now. But he sent in like a little video, speech and stuff. So, but yeah, that's really cool to get the people back. And I guess another hurdle is finding a date that works for everyone. Trying to accommodate. It's definitely a challenge, but we seem to make it work.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you got to work around the athletic calendar, right, as it exists, and then and then you throw some holidays in there, and So, when you first started getting going, and obviously you mentioned kind of 2019, and then you obviously run into COVID and everything that came along with it. Was there ever a point where you just thought, oh, God, I don't know if this is going to happen?
Yeah. Absolutely. Probably more than one instance. COVID was definitely a huge hurdle. Just in the sense of just getting the board members together, just trying to figure out how a meeting's going to work. Because that was the social distancing and trying to figure that out. But yeah, no, the first ceremony definitely had its trials. And then another challenge was the Hall of Fame was never an established 501c3 nonprofit.
Right.
So shout out to my dad, Tim Sandberg, for that, for helping me with that process. But yeah, so it's been a wonderful learning curve with all this.
You talk about ceremonies and balloting and all of this. It's not free, right? I mean, you've got to have some kind of revenue stream and a way to put things together. And I think, like you said, making it a 501c3 is going to help that. As things progress and grow, is going to help that be, so you don't run into an issue where there's a 10-year hiatus again.
Yes, yeah, for sure. So yeah, no, it's and hopefully down the road in terms of funding the the ceremony, maybe get some sort of sponsors and people people or businesses that would like to financially assist. But as of now, our only sense of revenue is the $10 voting membership. which pays for our ceremony and our awards, and I guess to renew our annual PO box. That's about it.
Yeah.
So.
And so, coming up on by the time this will air, we're in the last week of nominating. Where are we at in terms of numbers? Has this been a fairly robust nominating period so far?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
The very first year that I ran this, I think because of the backlog,
Sure, yeah.
We had, oh my goodness, 65, 70 nominations.
Yeah.
Which is just wonderful.
Yeah.
Right now, I'd say we're at about 35 to 40, give or take. But just, going through them, just seeing the diverse,
Yeah.
just disciplines is just really neat. So yeah, and it's really cool.
Do you think as we go on here, kind of reduce that backlog and but then as people see who gets inducted, in each class, do you think maybe that'll help narrow the nominating process? People get a better sense of, okay, yes, this person is probably worthy of consideration. Maybe this person isn't.
Sure. No, for sure. Yeah, there definitely is some precedent, because this would be the 15th induction year of the Hall of Fame, which I think started in 93. So there is a lot of precedent to go off of, in terms of, is this person, quote unquote, worthy? Right. So I guess in terms of helping that precedent and helping people understand it would, they need to know, who also is in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
So kind of our, I guess, short-term goals is, trying to get some sort of website, that has all that information of the inductees, what they accomplished. So, you hate for someone to, really go through the time to try to nominate someone and, kind of just, realize, they might not, be deserving.
Or they're already in.
Correct.
Yeah. That was one of the things, I mentioned that list I kind of had in the top of my head. I was constantly going back and forth.
Sure.
And going, okay, are they, and looking through, and no, I think that's an obvious next step is to, kind of get all of that collected and collated and put in a central location for people to see, and I think just preserving those records is
it's huge.
Yeah,
huge.
It's and like you mentioned, that becomes then down the line another resource. When people are looking at nominations or when future boards are, trying to find information, they can start with their own Hall of Fame.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so for you, what is it about sport that drives your interest so much?
I guess, my brother Matt and I, we grew up around sports.
Yeah.
My parents are very sports oriented. So it's always been a part of our lives. And for my whole family to see, our own individual and team sports success kind of, fuel that, is help the drive of doing, running the Hall of Fame and wanting to do this. Cause it's totally voluntary, obviously, all the board members and, it's just, and it's cool to see other sports-minded people like that, that share that same interest. But yeah, I guess I would, that's my parents, my brother, and all my other great coaches and friends that have helped me along the way.
And so speaking of coaching, you've dabbled in that as well with the Warren golf team, and so are you going to be a little partial at some of these golfing nominees now?
Yeah, if you're a golfer,
that's it. You made a hole in one time. In.
Right. If only it was that easy. That's hard to believe. It's I just finished my 4th year as head coach of the Warren golf team, which is great. My falls are in the end of summers are very busy with teaching at the high school and the golf season. So yeah, I call it a good busy. So yeah, that's funny.
And definitely good to see the girls team coming back and rounding into form and being successful as they were this year. Is a phenomenal season for the ladies as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we Scott Pearson and I kind of, I guess, quote unquote, brought back the girls team because they didn't have an established girls team
Right.
for quite a while, ever
Yeah.
since I think Rachel Wilson era, right around
Mhm.
there. So getting that established girls team, going back and competing in their own region has
Yeah.
been a wonderful step that we've taken, and the girls have been nothing but receptive to it. So yeah, so huge shout out to Scott Pearson on that for all the hard work that he puts in for the girls team, and he's such an asset to the team.
And now you are a colleague of mine in the
Yes.
media as well. You doing some writing and reporting on Dragon Athletics. And,
Sure.
what's that transition been like? I mean, obviously, you have a teaching background and coaching and now reporting on the athletes and your students. I mean, does it become difficult to kind of separate, when you're having to talk about kids that you've coached or taught?
Not necessarily. Yeah, the reporting and the writing the stories realm is obviously new to me.
Yeah.
But it's been so fun, just especially, teaching at the high school,
Yeah.
writing the stories about these kids. It has been just awesome for building relationships. One of the one of the biggest struggles of the sports writing world that I found is finding synonyms to describe things.
Yeah.
So that's been definitely a bit of a learning curve there. But it's cool. I mean, it's I trying to interview the kids, get quotes from them, obviously the coaches. But yeah, no, I've covered every Warren High sports story since late August.
Yeah.
Which has been really fun for me. And I heavily enjoy it, and it just kind of helps with the sports knowledge.
Sure,
Looking back maybe years from now, be like, oh, how good was this kid, or
Right.
what impact did they make?
Yeah.
So it's, I think, very vital as well.
And so before we get out of here, I guess, kind of what are you most looking forward to about the class of 2026? What do you anticipate seeing, and what are you looking forward to about that induction ceremony?
Honestly, meeting new people.
Yeah.
That has been one of the underlying awesome things of running the Hall of Fame is meeting all these fantastic, sports oriented people, coaches, organizations, which I know it sounds selfish, but that's, that's so cool doing
Right,
that.
yeah.
It's, especially with, like, I always talk about, like, Donnie Beals,
Sure.
the BMX rider who's from Youngsville, but he moved to Florida years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I never knew about him before the Hall of Fame. I never knew about a lot of these people. So,
Yeah.
Just meeting the new class, and that's to me the neatest thing about the Hall of Fame.
So again, you have until January 16th to get your nominations in. Nomination form can be found in our story at yourdailylocal.com. There's also an electronic form in that story as well if you want to nominate electronically. And Nate, look forward to sitting down with you and the rest of the board members once the nominations are in, and figuring out who's going to be on our ballot for this year.
Yeah, Brian, no, I'm very much excited. I think we all are, and moving on with the next step. And yeah, it's a fun time.
All right, so that'll do it for this episode of Coffee and a Conversation. I want to thank Nate Sandberg of the Warren County Sports Hall of Fame for stopping by, taking some time with us. And thank you, all of you, for watching here on Your Daily Local. This is Brian Hagberg saying thank you so much for watching, and enjoy your day.
Here at Casella, we make temporary dumpster rental easy, offering services that are perfect for construction, remodeling, special events, or other short-term projects. Casella dumpsters are available in a wide range of sizes to fit any job. Our dedicated customer service team will help you choose the right size container and service level for your project, and schedule hassle-free removal based on your specific needs. The right size dumpster, when you want it, where you want it, removed